Let's focus on the fallout then from the game between Arsenal and Manchester United, Rob. What a game it was as well. Definitely one for the books when it comes to classic encounters between these two sides. I do want to stick with United and that side of things with the fallout from this game and what's actually happening there at the moment. Because even after the game, you could hear like former United greats like Roy Keane not too quick to criticise them, to say that they still did see positive signs in this game, but it obviously didn't go their way. But all doesn't seem to be well there.
No, I actually think it's a shame for United in the aftermath of Sunday, because actually in the game, I thought they did all right. You know, they took the lead, and they were level for an awful long time. There was a very close offside call with Garnacho scoring that got reversed, and obviously Arsenal have scored twice in stoppage time. I think in the game itself, United did a lot right, but really that's not going to be the focus, because the focus is on the fallout with the Jadon Sancho situation and everything that's connected to that. So it's unfortunate for United and for United fans, because I think there was an awful lot of positives to take out of the game, but that won't be the focus, because the focus now is on the rift between Jadon Sancho and Ten Hag. And when you've got situations like that between players and managers, it does hint, like you say, that things aren't all well at Old Trafford. They've also got a problem in that it's happened right at the start of a 2-week international break. There's going to be a vacuum now of news that's going to be filled with stories and claims and counterclaims swirling around the club for 2 weeks. That's never healthy. It really feels a bit of a mess there off the pitch at the moment, which is a shame, because they haven't had a particularly great start to the season. A lot of their results have been a little bit underwhelming. As I say, I thought there was a lot of positive to take from the actual game against Arsenal, but that won't be the focus now.
Do you agree with that, Janusz?
Yes and no. I was very surprised that Ten Hag has dealt with it that way. Never, ever a good thing, right? Didn't do it Cristiano Ronaldo. We all knew what he was doing, but he didn't say, hey, Ronaldo, great player, great. His time will come. Next thing you know, he's out. Maguire kind of quietly pushed out as a captain, no problem. And here with Jadon Sancho, obviously, I don't know what's happening behind. I mean, obviously, he stood by him last season, as we all know. He was out for 3 months, and part of it was, I think, mental issues. So that may not help him with all of this. Although I don't know the background, but I still, if I were Ten Hag, I think it's a wrong move. I am a big fan of Ten Hag. I think we all have been sitting here saying how much he's done. We also said ahead of the season, Kay and Rob maybe as well, that I wasn't sure how he's going to make this team better. I've mentioned in this show already that they haven't gone for the players that I thought they would have gone. But you know what? With all this happening, we have to push back against Ten Hag a little bit. Don't we, Rob? I mean, to some degree, we have to. Where's this game that he's promised? I didn't see, because you said they haven't done badly in this game. Okay, decisions went against them. Maybe that offside, I suppose, right? I mean, that could have been given. I'm not a big fan of that. To me, looked onside and all this. The way they play, I mean, it's horrific. Where's the high pressing? Where's the possession? I mean, if we're going to compare, the progress, look at Arsenal. Look at how much they're progressing from last season. Look at the way they play, and they're finding a way. They're showing the character that we question, that Manchester United always had. I don't know what went well United's way in this game, because I'm telling you, I mean, Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno Fernandes, for me, 0 in this game. Absolute 0. They had no control of the midfield at any point of this game. They just really didn't, right? So although the result could have gone differently, I think, as I've mentioned, United could have, you could make a case, should have lost every game so far, aside from decent first half against Spurs, and then the second half we know that they lost. Against Forest, they came back. I mean, they haven't played well at all. If I'm in that dressing room, if I'm one of those players and I see Anthony starting every game, Rob, you know how it is in the dressing room, right? I mean, we'd all be saying, like, what's going on with this? How is this guy playing every game? Those are conversations that are happening. They had to be happening, because I remember I've been part of that, right? On a good and a bad side. It just is. So granted that, they've missed a lot of the players, but I don't want to say it was all negative in a way, but it hasn't been good. And Ten Hag has got to take responsibility, because his way of playing, I haven't seen.
Yeah, let's talk about if there should be a pushback on Ten Hag, Rob. But just to offer some context for anyone who hasn't been keeping up to date with the situation between the coach and Jadon Sancho, the coach has said that he was dropped because of poor training performances for this game. Jadon Sancho has hit back, saying that he's been the scapegoat for a long time here. So can we just shed some more light on this and talk about whether there should be a pushback on the coach, Rob?
I mean, it's certainly a question that needs to be asked. Has Ten Hag handled this in the right way? I mean, my opinion with stuff like this, as great content as this all is for people in the media like us, my view of this is that if he really is disappointed with Jadon Sancho's training, that needs to be kept in house. You bring him into the office and you tell him in the office that he's not training well enough and he's not going to be in the squad for Arsenal. You probably don't need to tell the press after the game. The mood in Manchester around this is that they're going to back Ten Hag. They believe Ten Hag over Jadon Sancho. Well, again, though, if Ten Hag is able to make these claims public, then why is Jadon Sancho not able then to counterclaim in public as well? He's got millions of followers on social media. He's got a platform to do it. Now, why can he not do that? The problem is that Jadon Sancho has essentially called his own manager a liar. That Ten Hag has said that he was dropped because he wasn't training properly. And Sancho has said, well, that's not the case. I trained very well last week. He claimed that there was other things at play. The reason why he was dropped was to do with, he suggested that it's something to do off field, which, really between a manager and player is a remarkable situation. The worry now for Jadon Sancho is that you have to think that he's fighting to save his Man United career, that the one theme all the way through Ten Hag's spell at Old Trafford has been discipline. He's disciplined Garnacho. He disciplined Marcus Rashford for being late for a team meeting and dropped him for a game at Wolves. His rift with Cristiano Ronaldo ended up with his contract being cancelled. And now he's got this very, very public rift with Jadon Sancho. And United have put so much faith in Ten Hag and given him so much power that you really can't see a way out of this now for Jadon Sancho, unless there's going to be some kind of grovelling apology, which doesn't seem to be, because the statement that he posted on Twitter on Sunday night is still there. It's not been deleted. He obviously standing by his words. But it's very, very difficult to see a way back for Jadon Sancho at Man United now, because Ten Hag needs to show that after all this, that he is the man in charge. He feels, he will feel that his authority has been challenged. So when that's your starting point, it's very, very hard to see how Jadon Sancho recovers from this at Man United and where he goes from here, because the transfer window is shut. What's he going to do for the next 4 months? Is he going to train with the reserves? Is he going to sit on the bench? Is he going to be exiled completely? It's a very, very messy situation that Man United could really do without.
Critical. It feels to me, you're quite right. And again, I don't know why he left. I mean, he's been getting chances. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to sell him and he didn't want to leave behind the scenes. You'd know better than that. That could be part of that as well. Because, let's face it. I mean, it's not like Sancho has done well since he's come over, so I can understand that. But it feels like a critical moment for Manchester United at a time when we all thought that things were getting better. And that's the big issue here. That didn't help. The start to the season didn't help because it hasn't been good. So when I look at, finally we've said, here's Erik Ten Hag, as you've said, who came in, made difficult decisions, got Manchester United back to the Champions League, a little bit of a trophy. Finally, that feeling of maybe we're getting our Manchester United back. But as I said, the ownership issue to me is massive, because it doesn't feel to me like United are going to progress. And again, I'll go back to what I said earlier, is it bothers me thinking of United at their best, why they didn't go for some of the players that I've mentioned, typical players that would normally be in that market. I'm talking James Ward-Prowse, a goal, 3 assists for West Ham, right? Or James Maddison. We all knew another English player who understands the league, who would have been perfect, and maybe even Harry Kane. Whatever we think of Levy, if he was going to sell it or not, I think if the price was right, it would have been difficult for him to say no. But at the very least, they should have been in the market for all those 3 players in every newspaper and every website, and they should have gotten somebody. So now with this Jadon Sancho, and Rob, you're absolutely right. This is going to simmer now for no reason whatsoever in those next 2 weeks during the international window. So hopefully Ten Hag, he's a strong character, can kind of put a lid on it. But I just think together with that indifferent start, to say the least, I'm really wonder how that's going to lead in the next couple of games.
Now, Arsenal did win that game between the two, and a big part of that was Declan Rice and his performance. Are we at a stage, Rob, where we're saying 105 million is a bargain for this player?
Maybe not quite yet, but we could probably get there. Maybe, I mean, if Arsenal win a title, then yeah, you know, ask any Arsenal fan, is it worth 105 million to win a title? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, he was fantastic on Sunday against Man United, and not really because of his goal. I mean, he's not there to score goals, otherwise, you know, he'll always take a 96-minute winner against Man United. I just thought the way that he held himself in midfield, the way he recycled the ball so cleverly when it came out. You know, Arsenal had these quite long spells of pressure where the ball was going into the box, it was coming back out, it was landing at the feet of Declan Rice. Either he was winning his duel and then giving the ball to a wide player or a more attacking player, or he was making these really smart pinpoint passes sort of through the lines. I just think he's a really, really clever signing for Arsenal. I think they looked at that squad, or Arteta will have looked at that squad and thought, what are we really missing? What was the reason we didn't get over the line in the title race last season? And they've identified Declan Rice. And I think, you know, when you talk about, you know, winners and losers of the transfer window and who's done the best business, you know, I think signing Declan Rice, I think Arsenal have done a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, tremendous performance is how Mikel Arteta described it. Janusz, obviously, Rob said the same pretty much. What would you say about what we saw from Declan Rice and what we've seen so far from him at Arsenal?
Well, again, I mean, he gets this league. He understands it. He'd be good on any team. No nonsense. You don't expect too much from him. You just expect him to do his job. And he's very, very good at his job. I mean, we saw that, I think, leading to the first goal. He put in a crunching tackle in the midfield. I think that's how it started. First or second goal, I can't remember at the moment. He's a very simple player. That's why I think when you see 100 million for a player like him, people will say, well, what's he going to do, right? For that kind of money, you should be scoring, 20 goals, or I don't know, what people think. But I think the quality is there. He kind of, I don't want to say he's paid for himself, but he's just a part of that. Is the process and the progress. When Mikel Arteta was first saying that a couple of years ago, when he finished 8th twice, I think, in the league, I thought it was a bunch of baloney, right? Now I'm hearing this from Pochettino, I think, in the last press conference. He said, process probably 30 times. Of course, these managers are right, but you can actually see it at Arsenal, right? Last season, if we think that, Manchester United overachieved a little bit, look at Arsenal last season, came very, very close. And then you say to yourself, what are they going to do now? And it's early. We don't know what's going to happen. But, I mean, you can clearly see a manager that's in charge, no nonsense, who had a great mentor. And he's doing pretty much the same as Pep. And why not, right? I mean, if you look at what he's done, the decision that he's made, the way he's challenging his players, the way he makes sure that they are not, they don't become complacent, right? I mean, look at some of these players like Gabriel Jesus. I mean, last 2 games on the bench, a player that you would say to yourself, he should be starting. Okay, injury, but he's been great. But no, you have to earn it even after the injury. Eddie Nketiah was scoring goals coming off the bench. Finally, he gets a start, right? So I think when you look at him and look at all the moves and the way he lives that game, I think, all the credit goes to Arsenal, because there's always that but thing with Arsenal, at least for last, I don't know how many years towards the end there, where Arsene Wenger, you could sense it that he was losing his magic just a little bit. There was a period of time where it was the easiest thing to say was what? Soft, lack of spine, lack of character. I don't know if we can say that, in particular after this game against Manchester United and how they won it late. They always play till the end, right? I mean, look how many goals. I think Arteta said, I'm paraphrasing, but say something. You know what I love about the team most? They're not happy with a tie. We're not happy with a draw. No matter where it is, home or away, we're going after. We won 3 points until the end. And you know what? They are doing it this season and last season as well.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.